I would like to talk about the direction that BMW is taking with their design, especially in recent cars that they've released. New BMWs are kind of styled unusually, almost amateur in nature, with a lot of elements that don't flow together, and they there isn't much consistency in the styling across their lineup. A lot of the flagship M cars are all way too squared off and circular at the same time. Like with the BMW M2, it's got a very squared front end, but a more curved rear end, and kind of it almost looks like an unfinished design. And if you look at the previous M2, you can kind of see a more continuous design, whereas a lot of the elements flow together really well. And this new one, it's got way too many kind of boxier old BMW elements that are meshed together with elements from the old M2. I honestly, and also the thing with the new M2 is it's not the best looking car, but it's still better looking than a lot of BMWs, but it doesn't really flow with their lineup very well. The styling is way more subdued, and it's almost a little more boxy than pretty much everything else that BMW offers. Like the new iX, which is just atrocious, and a lot of the lines clash together. The way the greenhouse is styled, it's bizarre. It interacts with the doors. The line between the doors and the roof, it almost seems too low on the car. And there are a lot of really incoherent body lines, like the one between the glass and the door handles. And it's just like, this design's way too busy. And the grille, which it doesn't even need it because it's electric. It doesn't need such a massive grille. But it's there, it's huge. And it's got a weird kind of diamond almost treatment on it that just makes it that much more pronounced and shiny. And I think that, BMW is kind of been an understated company. A lot of their best designs aren't really that in your face or brash. And I think that this kind of new styling direction for them is hurting them, and I think it's diminishing their identity. And kind of another example of this is the new XM, which is their, super SUV, their Lamborghini Urus competitor. And honestly, I think it's almost as ugly as the iX. And the way it's proportioned is there are parts that look like, a proper in-your-face massive SUV. And then there are other parts that are trying to look more sleek and sporty. Like, the grille is huge, and it commands your attention. And so do, all the vents and the lower grills on the front. But once you move to the back, you see, especially in the roof line, it's like almost a fastback in nature. And it's kind of trying to, it's trying to say two things at once. It's like trying to say, look, I'm a massive, big, strong, imposing SUV, but I'm also sporty. And it doesn't do either part very well. And I think that, car that really began BMW's dry run, I guess, is the 4 Series, which I don't mind the M4, and I feel like the M3 is actually a halfway decent looking car because it kind of balances out the grille and odd looking greenhouse with, an extra set of doors. But the base 4 Series, I just saw one on the road yesterday, and especially the convertible, is a massive grille and nothing to balance out that massive grille in front. And it's more, a more curved design, I guess, for lack of a better word. And it has a massive, more geometric grille shape. And I think that's kind of BMW's big thing, is they're trying to, combine, I guess, this new sort of styling identity with still some of their old profiles and design tendencies. And I don't think that works well for them. And I think that they could do something, halfway decent and maybe something somewhat interesting with this new styling. But they need to go back to the drawing board and think of a way to kind of flesh it out a little bit more and refine it. And I think if BMW wants success, that they need to make sure that their whole lineup, looks like it's one brand. Whereas you could take the badges off all their cars, and it would be hard to tell that they're all made by the same company. They're not cohesive in design at all. Whereas in the 90s and early 2000s, like when BMW was at their peak, it was easy to tell that every single car they made was made, had the same sort of, important styling cues and trademark BMW elements. And I think that they're making good cars. It's just that they need better design. I think that'll be it. Thanks for watching.